Hello everyone, my name is Legend Ronnie and this game is Rise of Kingdoms and we have Ramses Commander Spotlight. This is gonna be a very interesting spotlight because I'm also talk a little bit about the wheel because things are changing and it's not 100% worth it to spin the wheels at the maximum capacity unless you're pretty much throwing in a lot of gems, you're buying a lot of bundles. The things are changing slowly in Rise of Kingdoms, or at least are changing for myself. There's been quite a while since I have max spin a wheel, maybe since Takeda because it was Cavs, and now they are introducing materials more and more ways to obtain materials. It's kind of having a higher impact into the game. Right, so before we're gonna go further down into Ramses Commander Spotlight, he is a wheel commander. This is how exactly you obtain Ramses. Now, since I mentioned that I'm going to talk a little bit about the wheel, this is pretty much what I want to talk about. This is the last day of the wheel, and you're noticing I have only done 60 spins. This is the reason because the wheels are becoming very expensive, and to do a max spin of a wheel is around 130,000 gems. Well, that's pretty much about like 1.5 full purchase, but that's quite a crazy large amount of gems to actually throw into the wheel. But now we have the Garden of Infinity, which if you want to do all three of them, it's around 60,000 gems. And even if you have bad rolls, you still get a decent amount of materials, which helps you upgrade your equipment, which helps you build up more equipment and everything else that you need to forge. Now, equipment will definitely improve your exiting legendaries, but if you do a max spin of a wheel, you will not max a legendary. You do all three wheels on a legendary that it is in a rotation, and you spend about 420, 30, 40,000 gems, and it won't even max your legendary. You'll get in like 553 something, 555 if you're very lucky with the rolls, and that's pretty much about it. You're not even maxing a legendary, throwing so many gems. So that's why I actually now I'm prioritizing my gems on Garden of Infinity. I find it much more beneficial to actually just upgrade or improve my existing legendaries, and the new legendaries just try to max them, or whichever I choose to max them, with universal sculptures. So I'm gonna do 2 more spins just so I can get these 10 legendary sculptures because are universal, so I can pretty much use them on any legendary. The next time I'm gonna get his wheel, which is gonna be the last one for us. I'm pretty much gonna do the same. I'm just gonna spin like 70 times. Let's see what do we get in 10 spins. We start with the star. Well, that's not really great. Training speed ups, not really needed. That's really good. Stars again. It's killing us with stars and 15-hour speed ups. Alright, this is decent. Personally, I will say that is decent. This one you can value it at 2,000 in the VIP shop, but I personally would like to value them at around 1,000 when you do the wheels. And if you value this at 1,000 when you do the wheels, I'm not sure if this worth 2,600 gems. So that was not a great 5 spins. Probably should have done just the free one and 2 more. That would have been much more beneficial. Well, we got 2 sculptures. That's good. The wood is bad. Alright, so we got another Ramses and we got another universal. So I'm pretty alright with this, but I'm still gonna do the 50%. That was so close to get a sculpture with 400 gems. How about that? Now that would have been real value. 400 gems for a sculpture. So that's pretty much about the wheel, and this is pretty much how much I'm gonna spin in the future on commanders that I want to work on. I prefer to max them out with the universal sculptures because, like I said, the material events or the materials themselves, they have a higher value now into the game. I'm personally even not purchasing anymore the bundles that actually helps you train troops, because what you still need speed ups for, at some point you have an amount of troops which is pretty much enough. You really don't need any more troops after a point. Once you have about, let's say, 2.5 million of each T5s, or probably even less. You should definitely have a specialty that you're working on. So you don't really need to have so many T5s of each other troops. For example, like I have a specialty of cabs, so personally I don't need to train more troops. The only reason I'm training more troops is because of the events. That's the only way you can actually win the Mightiest Governor events. So the bundles that personally I'm spending on, or I'm gonna spend in the future, is gonna be the hammer and the anvil, because it actually gives you material. I'm not 100% happy about this, but like I said, just spamming and spamming troops, what's the point of it? You guys all noticing how Light and Darkness is right now. It's just fighting at the ruins, and then in the King's Land is probably gonna be a little bit of rallies, probably not too much rallies. So I don't believe that actually having a gazillion of troops is very, very helpful anymore. But having the right equipment, that will definitely help a lot with your legendaries, or with the current legendaries that you're working on. What I used to spend on every week or every time it comes on was the Call of the Ancients, but I just have a lot of speed ups. I just don't need any more speed ups. I have a lot of training speed ups, and where is it at the boost? I have a lot of boosts as well, so I can actually boost my troops. The equipment, this is what you need. This is what you need. A lot of materials so you can craft your equipment, and what I'm going for right now is the coin. Now that was just a summary, which personally should have not probably included in Ramsses Commander Spotlight, but I did talk about the wheel, I did talk about the Garden of Infinity, and I kinda felt the obligation to actually detail a little bit more about everything. Now let's get into Ramsses Commander Spotlight, and let's see what he's actually good for and what is he actually good for. Since we're talking about legendaries, you gotta know a couple of things. First of all, you wanna know the sculptures, and you want to know the stars that is needed to max him. The stars is approximately, it's not 100%, it all depends on your luck for criticals. It can be a little bit more, it can be a little bit less. More important things to know about is that equipment only apply from the primary commander, so make sure if he is going to be your primary commander, you have the right equipment on him. Talents also only apply from the primary commander. And then it's the skill order, which again, this is very, very important about how you upgrade your legendary. If you're noticing, all the legendaries, they are pretty much at 1 star to max out their primary skill. So including Charlemagne or any other commander I'm looking at, you're noticing Mehmed 5-5, you're noticing Tomiris, again I maxed her first skill. Pretty much any legendary commander, epics would help as well, but in general epics, they are very easy to upgrade, so you're pretty much gonna max them out anyway. There's no problem if you actually done some mistake with the epics, but with the legendary, they are very hard to correct. And in general, the primary skill on each and every legendary is kind of the most powerful skill they have. So keeping him at 1 star, it guarantees that you're gonna max out his primary skill. Then like I have it at 2 star, now every time I'm gonna upgrade, it's just gonna max his 2nd skill. And after that, I'm going to take him to his 3rd star, so I'm going to max his 3rd skill. And then you unlock his 4th, and that's pretty much about it. You get him to 5 or 6 if you plan to use him primary. If you don't plan to use him primary, there is no need for a commander to go to 6 star. You're noticing Takeda, for example, for me he's always a 2nd in command. I have no reason to upgrade his star or getting him to 60. It will just increase the commander power. For what reason? Because he's always and always going to be a 2nd in command. He does have mobility, versatility, cabs, but he's not really that fast. You have Dragon Lancer and you have Lancelot or double C mobility commander, so there's pretty much plenty of mobility commanders. You don't need another legendary to get to 60. This is also the minimum investment, because I was mentioning about his skill. Going through his skills or just reading what they do, this is something that you can do as well. I would say that he's optimal as a commander once you obtain his expertise, because he reduces the target defense and targets cannot receive any healing. So that's a very, very powerful expertise, because we have a lot of healing commanders into the game, and we're going to get to that point in just a moment. So I was mentioning about his skill. This is kind of the minimum investment that I would do on Ramses. 5-5-5-1. From this, he's actually useful. You need the third skill. You need the skill damage reduction. And after that, you have a 10% chance to increase attack and march speed of your march. This is guaranteed attack 40%, which is really powerful. And once you get to his fourth skill, even if it's just at 1, which pretty much all you have to do is unlock it, you still get a 20% defense bonus whenever you get the troop chance, the 10%, and goes in. The healing factor 200 is not very big, so it won't make much of a difference, but you still get the 20% defense, which is pretty much half of the total defense that this skill can offer whenever your chances go in. With the expertise, because I was mentioning about it, I personally believe that, and the reports that I have seen, he's a very, very hard counter any kind of healing commander. So we have Wozitian, which everyone knows about it, being very, very powerful in Osiris League, and even in KVK, when defending flags against the rally, Wozitian is really, really strong. I do have to say that. It's a very hard counter to that, to healing. In Osiris League is definitely awesome. Ramses is, I would say that he's a must-have commander for Osiris League or any Osiris League. This is definitely a commander they must have because it's a very hard counter to any healing. So that's Wozitian, which I already mentioned. You have Richard, and you also have Constantine, which does a very big healing. So you definitely need a Ramses in your Osiris League team. Preferably 1-2 on each side to have them ready for rallies. In KVK, as I mentioned, it needs to be tested. On field battles, I have seen Ramses, and I do have to say it melts. I mean, with all the 30% skill damage reduction, with the healing factor, defense bonus chances, it melts. On top of that, it was with an Artemisia leading, which has defense talent tree. So it was Artemisia and Ramses. They were on the battlefield on our ruin sprite. Apparently someone does have it, and they were just melting. So I personally don't know what to say, but I don't really believe that archers have a future on the battlefield. I mean, with all these defense bonuses that Artemisia and Ramses can actually bring together, and I'm pretty sure he had a lot of severely wounded, archers still get demolished on the battlefield. I don't think there would be a way to actually fix it because there's too many Cavs. Cavs counter archers. So for them to actually fix it, it would mean that Cavs should not counter archers, which is illogic, isn't it? So archers have other specific utilities, which is Osiris League. So in Osiris League, skill damage prevails. A lot of skill damage prevails. That's also one of the reasons I'm always using nuking marchers, skill damaging marchers. I noticed that it performs way better even in Osiris League. So that's where Ramses actually excels a lot so far. I've also fought them in Sunset Canyon, and it was the same situation. I think it was the same player. It was Ramses with Artemisia leading and Ramses second, and they just, demolished just like that, to be honest. So I wasn't really hyped about it. Artemisia was level 60, so definitely he probably had a very proper talent tree. That's my final decision about Ramses. Really good and useful for Osiris League or for any team wants to perform for the high-end Osiris League competition championships. They need Ramses. Now going into his talent tree, I've also done a talent tree, but I'm also going to explain a little bit. I believe that he's that one type of commander that you need like the full archer tree. Once you've done the full archer tree, you have enough talents left to go for forceless, to go for armored joints, and I think you have another 2 points on unyielding. Personally, I believe that this is kind of the best talent tree you can do for him. If you want to use him primary, you'll also have a lot of attack, a lot of damage, you'll have Phoenix Tail, and you'll have the awesome whistling arrows. You put YG as a second in command to also give you rage restoration and 100% archer attack. Ramses already has 40% and has another chance of 40%, and that can bring you to a chance, if they all go together in the perfect time, to 180% archer attack. Now imagine if all that archer attack is being boosted by the attack tree, that can have, quite a huge impact. So I do believe that Ramses with YSG is actually working very, very well, or they should actually give some decent results. Okay, and I have over here a talent tree, which I already done thanks to rocktalents.com. This is the site where I actually done this. So if you want to do talent trees, or you want to just test talent trees of your commanders, you don't have to keep resetting yours or so on, or probably don't even have level 60 commanders, you can go to rocktalents.com and they will help you out. Is a free website. Right, so we talk about his talents. Like I was, there wasn't pretty much else to talk, when you don't do like the full archer talent tree, you pretty much have everything from the archer talent tree. He's very much focused on attack, because he literally has 2 skills, that can do attack. So obviously going with the fortress and the full archer talent tree, it would make perfect sense. Putting him with YSG will most likely also improve his skill damage. Now the thing is, this says additional damage factor, so there might be a small chance that this will not be boosted by YSG's 4 skill, which increase skill damage, because this guy does continuous damage to a single target damage factor of up to 800 and reduces the target defense. But with the amount of attack your archer rally or your archer march will definitely cause some damage to the structure or the march that you're hitting. You never know. Very, very strong commander, and I would say that I would classify him as the 3rd commander from the archers. So we have YSG, which obviously is the first, and the second one I classify Edward. So Edward, in my opinion, still remains the second. Now the reason I classify Edward as the second from the archer commanders, like the best, from the best archer commanders, is because he's useful on the battlefields. He's useful in rally. I mean, very useful in rally. He's very useful in PvE events. He's very useful to take down structures as well. I mean, with Edward, you can take down some structures pretty fast. He does a lot of damage, even in PvE. You can use him in Ceroli. He does a crazy ton of damage. He's probably as good or even better than Genghis YSG. So plenty of options where Edward can be used, while Ramses still needs to be tested, 1, and 2. I don't actually find it very, very useful, like launching a rally on a city. With a Ramses, I would prefer skill talent tree first, not attack. Using him as second, I'm so not very, very crazy about it. Pretty much that's where it leaves Ramses pretty much on that niche, like Osiris League. This is where Ramses is actually going to excel the most, or at least that's my opinion about it. Other pairs you can do with Ramses, because I already mentioned Ramses primary and YSG as a second. Interesting would be with Artemisia as well, especially if you want to use him for Osiris League. If you want to use him for field battles and you want to pair him with Artemisia, would make a lot more sense to put Artemisia leading. The attack tree will not have a huge impact on the field battles to actually watch it. You would prefer to have the defense talent tree to actually make this march a little bit more defensive. Other interesting marchers to actually pair him with Tomiris. Ramses and Tomiris will be very, very interesting. With El Cid as well. Ramses El Cid. El Cid has a ton of additional damage as well, plus interruption. So there's like a crazy ton of 1000 damage. Because once you max the skill of Ramses, his primary skill does 1000 over the 2 seconds. Then you can also have the poem of El Cid going in. Then you also have El Cid skill going in. Then from the talents, if you're using Ramses primary, you have the whistling arrow, which also can go in. So this crazy ton of damage you can actually do with the archers. Plus El Cid can give you even more defensive option and some mobility, which Ramses doesn't have. He's not a versatile commander, or not as much versatile commander as it says here, because it has specific archer skills. Too much archer specific things to actually say that he's a versatile commander, as we have YSG or we have Alexander. So he's just with archers. Now that's pretty much what I have to Ramses. I personally looking forward to invest on him because I just want to bring more skill damage on the field battle in Osiris. My calves are not seriously falling behind, but the epics are falling behind for high-end Osiris League games. So I just want to add more skill damage, and the best way to actually do that is just probably adding another archer pair on my field battle marches for the Osiris League. I already started using Endor YSG. I've tried to include Frederick, but it just doesn't work. So I just prefer to actually, work on some more skill damaging commanders, which is not infantry. I don't want to work on infantry commanders except Alexander. Yeah, that's somehow my plan for the future, just getting Ramses and Artemisia together for Osiris League, and then work my way around with my other archer commanders and see how I'm gonna make things work with some of them. Probably and most likely might have to max Tomiris as well, especially when swarming buildings. She is very, very good. So that's pretty much about Ramses. This is what I have to say about Ramses. So I just don't want to demoralize you if you're actually investing in Ramses, but this is the reality right now. So until next time, this is your boy January signing off. Peace out, yo, and take care. See you on the next one. Have a good day.